I am R1 Cameron, and this is the Conduit. How's everyone doing? It is officially March 29. I know the date says March 28, but it is just past midnight, 12:36, 35 degrees in Bremerton. Hopefully everyone had a good weekend. It's time to get back at it. You know, Monday is my favorite day. Everything gets started. Time to take care of business. So hopefully you will have a full and prosperous week. I know I intend to. I did want to come to you and just kind of share and recap the week and talk about what's coming up. We've got a big week ahead of us, but I wanted to send out some shout outs. So hopefully you had a chance to catch it. It premiered earlier today on Sunday. Our interview with KAIRE. Okay, so that is the Kitsap Advocating for Immigrant Rights and Equality. That was a fantastic interview. I'm actually going to play a little bit of it for you today while we're on. Just so you can get a little snippet. But please go over there and check that out. Like I said, it's a really good interview. There is a GoFundMe associated with that to help one of our folks save their farm and help pay for some legal fees. So check out that story there. The link has been provided to you both on Facebook and YouTube. So check that out. G2 has donated $50 to that endeavor. Tomorrow evening, we have Tazsjah Green from Up From Slavery Initiative. And you can check out upfromslavery.org, the initiative. And so I put their link in the description over there on the side, so you can check that out. But definitely looking forward to that interview, and that will be Monday, March 29th at 9:30 p.m. And then on Tuesday, we have 2x2 Studies. This should be our first of a weekly podcast series that we are going to be doing with Reverend Michael Ellington with New Horizon Baptist Church. So we're definitely excited about that opportunity to kind of have a conversation and kind of talk through things. Yeah, I'm pumped about that. I'm really excited about where that can go. And what we can do with that. So that will be about 10 a.m., 10 or 11 a.m. on Tuesdays. It may actually be more like 11 most Tuesdays, but I actually have a Zoom meeting with our Wednesday guest. And that will be Holly Bolstad. And she's going to come to us from the Kitsap Public Health Department, okay, right here in Kitsap County. We're going to be talking about vaccines and getting vaccinated and all kinds of other things. So if you have questions, do tune in. That will be Wednesday, March 31 at 6:30 p.m. So I was invited to the Kitsap Public Health Organization Zoom meeting. So I will be participating in that on Tuesday. And so that's why I'm saying our 2x2 Studies live stream might be a little earlier or later than normal. But I'm going to be opening up my my Tuesdays to have that weekly live podcast, right? Also, if you haven't had a chance, on Friday, I posted a letter to the AAPI community. That is our Asian American and Pacific Islander community. So check that out. You can find that in my feed. Several leaders signed on to that. So shout out to Drayton Jackson. Shout out to Diana Sullivan, shout out to Ron Atkins, and shout out to Reverend Michael Ellington for signing on to that letter. I think it is definitely important to have these conversations and to really take the opportunity to, make statements, talk about where you feel. Again, this is the Conduit, and the whole thing here is to have conversations, to establish a dialogue. And again, that is a two-way direction. I think that's tremendously important that we do that. and we need to show our support and talk about what are the steps that we can do to move forward and to grow together, right? It's one of the reasons that we ended up settling on the name Gather Together, Grow Together for G2, because to us it fits so many different scenarios, right? We're gathering together and we're growing. And growing means that you're going to have growing pains often as we try to heal and deal with the traumas of, let's say, the dominant society, or dealing with institutions of white supremacy, but also dealing with, the traumas that have been inflicted upon us by different groups, right? And so the Asian community, the Black community, Hispanic community, Indigenous, and back and forth and such. But then we also need to deal with the traumas and the pain that is inflicted in our own communities, right? Black on black issues that we need to resolve in our own community. And so we need to have a conversation about all of those things, right? It's not just one thing, it's all of it, and we have to address it. I think now is the time. We have an opportunity to have some of that intellectually honest dialogue. Will that dialogue be painful at times? Will it be stressful at times? Will there be some hard feelings at times? Yes. But I also believe that at this point in time, we actually don't have a choice, right? We're to the point now where society is unraveling at a pretty rapid clip. And if we don't find a way to navigate our way through this pain and trauma that we have experienced and that we have inflicted upon others, then we are just going to go down with the proverbial ship. And I don't want to do that. I want to heal. I want a country, a world, a neighborhood where my daughter and my grandchildren can thrive. Having a conversation with Layla today, I'm asking her to stay 9 forever, and she is looking forward to her double digits in October. So, there's not a lot of time to try to make some of these changes so that she can have a better experience than is currently set now, right? And I think that we are, both things can be true. One, we're going in the wrong direction, but at the same time, we have a lot of people that want to come together, have some conversations, and try to right the ship. So please join us for that. I can tell you that next week, and we'll call it April for lack of a better date. But starting in April, we will actually have our phone lines open. So we have been working through that. So you don't have to just, participate in the chat. You can actually call in and ask questions and establish dialogue. So I think that's really important. So stay tuned for that. I will be providing that phone number as we have our various different programming, right? Some of our shows will be live that you'll be able to watch and maybe respond to in the chat, participate. Some of the shows will allow more two-way dialogue where you can actually call in beyond chatting. There will be live programming, and there will also be pre-recorded programming, right? So please do give a call if you have some ideas, if you want to try to collaborate. I will tell you, I only have so much bandwidth. So, as things kind of fill up, we'll try to find our way to do those things. Do rest assured that our podcast will get a little bit shorter. I know 2 hours, hour and a half, 3 hours as the one with KAIRE can be a lot for folks to digest. We do want to break up some of those videos so it makes it a little bit more digestible. But at the same time, it's really good content. And, as you will hear, the folks that are on the podcast actually get fed from being on the podcast as much as I hope that you yourselves do. I know that I benefit from it personally as it motivates me and inspires me from the stories that I hear from everyone. And it encourages me to continue forward, in the face of adversity, and it reinforces, the good things that are happening, right? So it's kind of like a rocket booster. So I think that's really important. Hope you're able to take that from it also. And so, as I said, some of our new shows, they don't have names yet, but Ron Atkins, our interview from last Friday, before last, we're going to be in discussions about starting a show about eating healthy and working out. That is the same with Amy Ray. And if you have not seen her images on Instagram, I definitely encourage you to check out her interview and then go and check her out over on Instagram, because she is definitely in fit and shape and in shape and very fit. So that should be very encouraging, especially during COVID. Now, I was listening to something, and I know I put on at least a good 20 pounds myself. My doctors are on me about that. But during this time of COVID, I think they said like the average weight gain was like 30 pounds or something like that. It was something crazy. So if you have put on some weight during COVID, definitely tune in to those shows, because I think there's going to be a lot of benefit there for you. And what I love is, the conversations that we'll have with Ron and Amy as we kind of go forward there are going to be things that doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be able to work on those things. My assumption would be that there will be some modified exercises. So if you are a novice just getting started, that you will be able to still participate and do those things. And again, I think there's a lot to be said by, engaging with people that you're familiar with and that you know. So stay tuned for that. Of course, we've got our 2x2 studies, which will be every Tuesday morning, and that will start this week. So stay tuned, and we'll definitely advertise and put that out. So go ahead and join their Facebook page there for Reverend Michael Ellington. And so that's going to be an awesome discussion as we work that out. We'll let you know how that format's going to go as it rolls out, because I think if it goes the way that we've talked about, oh man, this is going to be something else. But I also want to do something fun. I think, we do a lot of serious, topics, right? Really heavy stuff, conversations or putting out news and information that people need. But one of the things that you should know about me is I'm definitely a nerd. I'm definitely a geek. And what I mean by that is, I love movies. I love my TV shows. It's definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. Should I even say guilty? I'm not guilty. I love it, so I'm not guilty about it. I like doing it. I love Marvel and DC and, the campy shows, like the stuff on the WB. And so I watch that stuff, and, I have other folks that watch it with me. And it's a great way to unwind and kind of disengage from, all the stressful stuff that we have to face in our lives. And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to do some reviews. We're on week 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So if you haven't started watching that on Disney Plus, if you're a fan, definitely tune in. But we will start talking about that after the show airs. So check us out over there on YouTube. I'll let you know the details once we get that sorted out. But that should be a lot of fun. But, we want to get into that. Like I said, for me, one of my very favorite things to do is go to the movies. And people know that I am very serious about the movies. I do not like being late to the movies. I need to be in my seat with my snacks and my popcorn before the movie starts. Don't talk to me during the movie. Don't ask me a bunch of questions. Why is this happening? Who's that? Who's that supposed to be? It ain't happening, And I'm the type of person, I do not have a problem with going to the movies by myself. You can go ahead and stay home, and I'll catch you another time, because if you're going to go and talk through the movie, that is the worst thing. It's funny, too. If I go down memory lane, anytime I would go to D.C. and spend time with my dad and the family, oftentimes it's the holidays. So there's some type of movie that's out. Maybe we go to the Magic Johnson Theater or whatever. And all I can say is he would say, okay, we could go to this theater. And it was a running joke, right? I can't remember what place it was. One of my brothers and sisters can shout out what area that was. But we would go, and folks would talk through the entire movie, and they weren't even talking about the movie. It was like they were at a bus stop or at a park or at the barbershop. It's like, what are y'all doing? Y'all paid all this money. And this is a night movie, right? So we're talking about $12 a ticket, plus your popcorn and everything else to have conversations that have nothing to do with the movie that we're actually watching. Like, I mean, it would blow my mind. So if that is whatever you were so serious about, if someone is in violation of that, I mean, it's like literally my head exploding, with the power of 1,000 suns. So, Dad would ask me, hey, son, you want to go to the movies? And he'll tell me that the area of town is like, no, I don't want to go to the movies. I'm not doing it. It's like, okay, we can go up to Silver Spring, or we can go down to, I think it was like the train station or something like that, to the Magic Johnson Theater and some other places. And I would try, but again, there's just way more people per capita, and everyone's just packed in, and just the culture down there is just you talk to the movies, or you talk at the movies, and you do whatever. You can't hear the dialogue; they have no idea what's going on. But hey, we're all in the movies having fun. But I just spent like $50, so I'm not trying to have it. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I'll go to the movies by myself. And so it's a coincidence that G2 ended up being a block away from C Film. So C Film, which is downtown on, what is that, 4th and Park, and we're on 5th and Park. So when C Film first opened up, we used to go to Redwood Cinema on Rydell, right? Horrible movie theater as far as the screen. I mean, it's just an old theater, right? But it was close. You didn't have to drive all the way out to Silverdale to go and see a particular movie. So I liked, Redwood Cinemas. Then I think it might have turned into Olympic Cinemas at some point in time. I'm not sure. But C Film opened up on 4th and Park, and I mean, it's a brand new theater, brand new seats, everything looked great, and no one knew about it. I would go to the movies like once every other week, and there'd be like 2 or 3 people in the theater, and it was like, man, this is like the best kept secret in Kitsap County. And, I remember going, and they were talking about how they were going to serve coffee, and it was like, okay, wait a minute. So you're telling me that you got a new movie theater, really comfortable seats, and they didn't recline, but they did lean back pretty well, nice leather seats with the cup holders, all that good stuff. Nobody knows about this place, and you're going to serve me coffee? And they had a little mini VIP for those of you that like to, have your adult beverages in there. It was awesome. So even now, pre-COVID, I could dip out and go and check out a matinee for 2 hours, unwind, come back, and feel great, right? And disengage. So, that's one of the biggest things that I miss, with being on the lockdown, is being able to go to the movies. Bowling is another really great thing that I love to do. I think bowling is just a really good activity to do with a lot of friends. Not something that you have to be good at. You're just socializing with everyone, and it's really expensive now, but it is really fun. So I look forward to getting back to those two things. But yeah, the movies, whew, that's a big deal. So if we had started this earlier, we could have talked about some of the things that passed, like WandaVision and some other shows. But we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is good. We've got Mortal Kombat coming out, in April. We've got Godzilla versus King Kong. We got some really good movies coming out. So, again, I'm really nerdy about that, if you don't know. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. So hopefully you will join us there. And we'll definitely, like I said, we'll have phone lines. So, maybe we can do watch parties or some things like that. So if you have any suggestions or ideas, do let us know, because I think it could be pretty fun to do. Anyhow, as I said, I wanted to just kind of give you a little teaser on our interview from KAIRE, because, again, I think it was a really good interview. So let's check out the ladies toward the end of our interview here. And, yeah.
And get to know each other. So I just wanted to, give you a shout out, Marwan, and thank you for presenting that opportunity for us to also get to know each other on a more intimate level. Because that impacts our work, that impacts how we move too in KAIRE. And so, so thank you for that. Thank you to anybody that's listening. And, and one other thing, solidarity, it matters. And so I hope those that are listening if there are any that are, questioning as far as like where they are on immigrant and migrant worker issues, if there's a part of them that is still othering, or if there's a part of them that has trouble with that, I just want to invite them to dig deeper into that and to look for some answers, because they're there. And there's a history there. And there are real reasons why we are where we are now. And all of them are man-made, human-made, and predominantly coming from, this country and our governing and how we've impacted the world. So I just implore people to look for those answers, even if they don't agree with some of the things that they've heard here today. But thank you.
Well, thank you, Deanna. One thing too is, this will be rebroadcast. We'll edit it a little bit, and then we'll put it back out on Facebook and YouTube. So we'll be there for people to catch, because we do want, as wide a dissemination as possible. So that will be coming. Alondra or Brenda?
I can go next. Well, I'd say thank you very much. This was very, very fun just talking to Deanna and Brenda. Like Deanna said, it feels like I'm concentrated on schoolwork and organization work, and haven't really stopped to be more intimate and vulnerable. As I'm still working on being vulnerable, really. And those questions, Marwan, are really excellent, man. Had me thinking. It feels like I haven't really properly answered all of them because I've never really stopped to think and concentrate and really set my belief on each and every single one of them. So I'll surely go back and to really reflect either tonight or soon. So thank you for having us. This was amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. What I'll say to that too is, one of the reasons why we created the Conduit was, people are social distancing and isolated, and they have to have a way to connect, and reach out. And pre-COVID, we're used to having 30 and 40 people around and taking them to events and just doing different things. And now we're kind of a skeleton crew still doing the work, and people are so disconnected. But then also at the same time, we're inundated with everything is all Zoom right now, or Teams or whatever. And it's so formal, as you were articulating, and you just want to have a space to actually kind of get to know each other. Right. And see what your interests are and how do you think about things, and kind of share those things out. Because oftentimes it's very counter to what mainstream media puts out. But we are the actual people, right? And not the organization or institutions that are designed to make us believe or think or act in a certain way. So I want to dismantle that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us, and just echoing what everyone has said. It's been really nice. I think I've only seen Deanna once in real life, maybe twice. I'm not sure, but so yeah, so it's like been mostly through Zoom that we've met like all these new people. And so yeah, it's been really neat, and it's nice to not just be business focused and just like go through an agenda or whatever and like just chat about things. And has definitely been good to reflect. I feel like I hadn't really realized that like a lot of the intimacy that I bring to my friendships and relationships or organizing work is like also really energy consuming. And so yeah, it's been a good reminder. But yeah, really great to just sit and chat and hear from you guys, and thanks for having me back after my other meeting.
Well, we were still going, right?
Yeah.
Hey, they're still there. Like, okay. Well, I appreciate you all being vulnerable. I hope that you would be willing to come back, whether it's to talk about serious issues or to, have some fun. We're going to do a different conversational series. We're going to do a little deeper dive in relationships. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there. But, again, we had a really great conversation. As Deanna was saying, Actually, was that Deanna? No, that wasn't Deanna. Brenda had to leave to go to another Zoom, and she came back, or her meeting ended, and noticed that we were still on. So she, jumped back in, and we went on for another 40 minutes or so. So, 3 hours went by like that, and it didn't seem like 3 hours, but we just had a lot of fun. And what was great about that conversation is, it was something that Deanna was saying actually, and that was that Deanna or Brenda? Either Brenda or Deanna was saying, that they had only seen, the other person twice since they had started the organization. And that's just kind of what, COVID has done, right? Typically we would get together. And so you can look at things on the bright side. Obviously there's a lot of, tragedy and loss from folks that have passed due to COVID, and family members that are left behind, breadwinners and heads of families that have been lost, and people trying to figure out what they're going to do. Again, on Friday I put out information on if you had someone pass away from COVID during that time, FEMA is actually going to step up, and there's a way that you can get access to some funds to help to provide for that loss. But we do need to see and spend time with each other. And I think that's one of the things that has come through it that I look at as silver lining, right? We had to find different ways for us to engage. And when you think about it, and again, we're just talking about the good parts, right? So, it's not a situation where it's like, well, this was bad, this was bad, this was bad, and you can't compare the two. Two things can be true at the same time. And one of those things was, again, when you think about, travel time, right? The time that it takes for you to get to work or get to a meeting, get into that meeting, get settled in, have the meeting, get back into your car and go somewhere else. We've been able to, triple and quadruple our meeting time, right? Because literally you're just, on your phone instantly, or you're in front of your computer anyway because you're home, or maybe you're in the office because there's so few of you in the office. And there you go. You're there. You're in the meeting, and your productivity can actually increase. And so that I can say that is something that has definitely happened. And so, I keep telling folks, 2021 just feels different to me, and this and that, well, what is it exactly? And some of that can be, and I think that it's likely that productivity has increased, right? So now you can be a part of this Zoom meeting and that Zoom meeting where you wouldn't have time to go and drive over here or do this or do that. And this is it. And people can be flexible. You can jump into a Zoom for half the time and then jump into the Zoom meeting, kind of as Brenda did, and come back if they're still going. And that allows you to, get yourself out there a little bit more, engage with more people in the community, and find more like-minded folks, or even find folks that aren't as like-minded, but find some kind of common ground, and then have those conversations together, because both sides want to be intellectually honest to find a way to grow together and move forward in whatever this new normal is going to be. And apparently it sounds like Bill Gates has said that we won't come out of this until the end of 2022, is what I heard earlier today from the news. So, if that's true, and to me, I think that's optimistic, honestly, because if you think about the housing crash of 2008, there are still, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of families that are still suffering the impacts of the housing crisis of 2008. And now we're talking about 12 years ago. And so if that's the case, right, for many Americans, there may be back to whatever feels like more normal by the end of 2022. But, Bill Gates was saying, hey, this pandemic was going to hit us in about 5 years, and here it came in 5 years. And so whether you're a conspiracy theorist or not, he was accurate about that call. And so I think that is likely. And if you look at, the moratorium on evictions getting ready to expire. If you think about the homeowners and the renters that haven't been getting their rent during this time, or not all of their rent during this time, how long is it going to take for them to get back to normal? Is it going to be a situation, because we often talk, right, because we kind of work with from the bottom up, right? We talk a lot about those that are going to be evicted when the moratorium ends, but how many people are going to have their houses foreclosed on, right? How many people are going to suffer in that way, because the banks are likely to be just as hardcore as they have ever been, right? If there isn't anything put into place. And so that squeeze is going to happen, and there are going to be a lot of folks that feel the pain from this. I think there's going to be a lot more property loss, and there's going to be a lot of vultures that are there in an opportune space to suck those properties up, jack the price up, and push them back out onto the market. So, definitely concerned about that. I'm concerned about those that are renters, but I'm also concerned about our homeowners also. And again, I think both of those things can be true. And we need to think about holistic solutions that try to make us whole, as much as possible, right? I think if we're looking at it from a people first perspective, then we're more likely to find a solution that harms the least amount of people and doesn't just cut out whole swatches of folks, right? So yeah, as I said before. Oh, and also I wanted to tell you, the very first Friday of every month, Up From Slavery has their financial principles. Okay, so this Friday, April 2nd at 6 p.m., their speaker is going to be Mia Mons from Mons Harvest. There are many components to a comprehensive financial plan. At the foundation, there are basic principles that everyone should know. And during that session, they will discuss the importance of goal setting, the power of budgeting tools and resources, and saving strategies. So again, that is always the first Friday of the month. So April 2nd is this Friday at 6 p.m. You can check them out on Facebook. Like I said, the link is over there to the left for you. I'm sure Tazsjah will talk to us a little bit more about it tomorrow. But I see employment opportunities on their website, educational opportunities on their Facebook page. So really good things that Up From Slavery is doing. So do check them out. They are hitting the ground running for sure. Again, just as a recap, tomorrow night we'll have Tazsjah Green from Up From Slavery. That interview will be tomorrow night at about 9:30 p.m., a little bit later than we normally air. Again, KAIRE, our interview, is on YouTube, so please go over there and check it out and support those ladies in that organization. They do have a GoFundMe for a woman who is trying to save her farm, so you can read that story and donate if your heart propels you to do such a thing. Gather Together, Grow Together gave $50 toward that effort. And then on Tuesday, we have 2x2 Studies with Reverend Michael Ellington. And that will be Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. And we'll settle in on our times. But as I said, my interview on Wednesday is with Holly Bolstad from Kitsap Public Health. We'll be talking about vaccines and vaccination, staying safe, all that good stuff. And that will be Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Again, check out our letter to the AAPI community, which is our Asian American and Pacific Islander community. And thank you again to Drayton Diana, Reverend Ellington, and Daryl for signing on to that letter. And then, like I said, our new shows, our new format will be coming out as we organize these shows with Ron Atkins and Amy Ray. 2x2 Studies has already been locked in. And then we'll also do our fun stuff, our movies and TVs shows. And again, we will be able to start calling in either maybe this weekend or sometime next week. So I may do something. I don't know. I need to kick off something cool and fun for our call-in time. Maybe I will do Falcon and Winter Soldier. Again, need to check that out. That's pretty cool. So just a lot of cool things. It has been a long week, and it actually has been a pretty long weekend. So there is no Layla and Daddy podcast today or this week, as we just were spending some time together. A shout out to Up From Slavery. I was their special guest to their board meeting over at Maynard's restaurant in Silverdale. So, that was a really special experience for us. An invitation was extended to us, and so Layla and I went to that and enjoyed a really nice dinner and learned about what Up From Slavery is trying to do, and talking about how we can be collaborative in that space. And so, want to send out a shout out to them, and thank you for that. Made us feel very special and wanted and appreciated, and I think that's awesome. So yeah, for sure. Anyway, it is officially Monday. It's about 36 degrees, and I do wish the emergency shelters were open. 4 degrees above freezing. We got to do something about this homelessness. There's going to be more of us out there, guys. Too many resources, too much money for us to be not having universal health care. Anyone being hungry. Anyone not having shelter or having their medical needs met. That is something that I believe. Got to find a way to do that. Being the most powerful and richest country on the planet. As my dad says, charity starts at home. So let's take care of each other. But it is my favorite day. I'm going to take a short nap, get up, and hit the day. So for all of you that wake up in the morning to this message, happy Monday to you. Have a great Monday. Use your affirmation bowl if you need it. If you wake up and you find yourself not on the right side of the bed, think about the things that you are grateful and thankful for, because you should be able to come up with some things. Reinforce that. Stay positive, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow night.